everyone! I hope you're having an excellent July. It's summer here in Canada, and I've got a lot going on in my quote-unquote professional life, so I want to give you all something special to tide you over just for a little bit. I think today's the day I talk about something I've been putting off for far too long. Back in the day, around 2004, I would often wake up super early to watch television before everyone else in my house woke up. We were lucky enough to have many different channels. Some mornings I started with Fraggle Rock on BBC Kids, or maybe I'd tune into Being Ian on YTV, or The Mr. Men Show on CBC Kids. But on specifically Saturday mornings, I was always up bright and early to watch one specific show that came on right after The Littlest Hobo on CTV. Christian television shows for children can range greatly in quality when it comes to both preaching morals and production value. On the extremely negative side, there are Christian shows that are marred by evil, although they claim to preach the Word of God, including the horrifying Life with Grandpa and Joy Junction, the former run by a horrifying cult and the other featuring a disturbed man who should never have been working with children. As we make our way into the not horrifying area, we encounter shows such as Bible Man, Gerbert, and Mary Lou's Flip-Flop Shop, which are entertaining enough and Christianity forward, mentioning the Bible's teachings not always constantly, but consistently. But there are Christian children's shows that don't specifically mention Jesus or God, but implement biblical lessons that can be taken religiously or just morally. Shows that can be watched by religious and non-religious people alike without non-religious people feeling preached upon, or religious people not feeling like there is enough biblical reference. The most perfect example of a show marketed towards all children and able to be viewed by a spectrum of Christians and non-Christians, from the evangelical to the casual churchgoer to someone non-religious like myself, is a fantastic C.S. Lewis-like story taking place in a magical land called Lumia. The show is called Kingdom Adventure. Kingdom Adventure is a Canadian puppet series filmed in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. One season was filmed in 1990, and it has been airing on various channels ever since. The show was produced by Chelsea Road Productions, Glen Warren Productions, CTV, Tyndale Family Video, and Crossroads Christian Communications. The Crossroads Christian Communications Centre in Burlington, Ontario was begun by Reverend David Maines. He was a pastor who worked across Ontario, Canada, and began his television career in 1962, hosting a 15-minute show called Crossroads, which aired after the news, featuring a religious teaching and a song. From there, he expanded to a studio on 100 Huntley Street in Toronto and hosted a 90-minute show also called 100 Huntley Street, starting in the 1970s. The show continues to this day. Also in the 1970s, David expanded his teachings, opening a summer camp for children called Circle Square Ranch, and expanding their television series to include content geared towards younger people.
Let shine, let his spirit flow between you, let your light shine. Well, let it shine, 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 come on and let your light shine. Well, let it shine, 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 come on and let your light shine. Well, let it shine, 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 come on and let your light shine. Well, let it shine, 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 come on and let your light shine.
And eventually, a puppet-based show for even younger kids, which was Kingdom Adventure. Later on, David founded the Crossroads television system in 1998, ultimately becoming Yes TV, playing religious and non-religious programming to this day. David unfortunately passed away in 2017 at the age of 81. Kingdom Adventure was well received not only in Canada but around the world, weirdly enough being a huge hit in Russia, with requests for coloring books about the show flooding the production company. So what is it about Kingdom Adventure that interested so many children and still brings me such excitement when I find someone who also watched the show? Well, I guess to put it simply, it's the characters, the design, the plot, the scenery, the animation, and the music. So, what is it all about? Well, the plot is explained at the beginning of each episode, as every episode is important in expanding the plot, and the show works best when you watch the episodes in order. The series takes place in a magical kingdom called Lumia. In the first episode, we meet a group of friends, of which the two main child characters, Kina and Pokum, tell the story about how they met the Emperor's Prince, who was arriving in Lumia to great fanfare. This is said to be the last time where things were normal in Lumia, and the group reflects fondly on the brighter days of the kingdom's past. We are then sent to the past to witness the story. When the prince arrives, he is supposed to marry a woman in Lumia that the emperor specifically chose. The marriage between the two will bring a bright light to Lumia to end a dark curse that haunts the dark woods. However, unfortunately, there is evil lurking in the woods that plans to destroy the kingdom. An evil, dark humanoid figure named Zordok discovers that the prince has come to Lumia, and his plan to make all the citizens of Lumia his slaves will be ruined. He has a bird messenger named Dagger, who is in cahoots with all of the bad guys in the kingdom, transferring messages between Zordok and the bumbling magistrate Pitts who lives in the castle. Zordok forces Pitts to kill the prince, and he does so after luring him into the dark woods, although Pitts does it reluctantly and locks the future princess in the castle. However, the two children, Kina and Pokum, happen to witness the murder in the forest when they set out to meet the prince. They are now the sole witnesses of the prince's murder. They are seen by the evil magistrates and chased, but they escape, getting more and more lost in the dark woods. Ultimately, they encounter the prince, alive, and he tells them that he did in fact die, but it was part of the Emperor's plan to rid Lumia of the evil Zordok. The two children discover they are part of the Emperor's plan too, and are guided by the prince as to what to do. They set out to save Lumia through the rest of the series, and all of this happens in episode 1. And the next 21 episodes are an incredible journey documenting the two young children doing all they can to save the land of Lumia with the help of their friends and the magical prince. In the same way I talked up Little Star, this show is incredible. It's light and dark and fun and scary. I watched it every Saturday morning in anticipation of what episode might be on. There is so much when it comes to plot and characters, including a magician, a monster that lives in the dungeon that used to be a magistrate, a group of silent monks who work in the library, an episode about drugs where everyone starts taking a wonder root and goes blind, and the hunt for the Emperor's book, which is totally not similar to the Bible at all. I don't want to go about explaining the entire plot of the series episode by episode, as it's a really great show to watch in its entirety. The allegory with Jesus and God are so cripplingly obvious if you were watching for that reason, but I appreciate that they at least changed the characters' names and the setting enough that it is different than the Bible itself. The show contains both puppets and animation, with all the bird characters being animated either fully or partially. For example, the puppet bird Dagger becomes animated when she takes flight. There is a character that plays both sides, hanging out with the evil characters as well as the good characters. From my childhood, he was my favorite character. His name is Vibes, and he plays the flute. And throughout my childhood, if you asked me who my favorite puppet was, I would either say Vibes from Kingdom Adventure or the cat from Mustard Pancakes. There is usually one song per episode, and they are well written and sung. I often find myself singing the Lumia Forever song.
Lumia forever, shine the light we sing. Lumia forever, joyous news we bring. Lumia, Lumia, Lumia forever, shine the light we sing. Lumia forever, joyous news.
The puppeteers in the show include husband and wife duo Gary and Brenda Keane, Angelica and Rock Cockstamper, and Ginny Corrigan, with puppet construction by Karen Vallot, a very notable puppeteer and builder who has built and performed puppets for shows including The Big Comfy Couch, Tupi and Binu, Longhouse Tales, and one of my favorite sci-fi shows, Channel Zero. The voice actors were Jeffrey Coulter, Anne Nicole, Winston Barker, and Hiram Joseph. The puppetry itself is not bad in any way, but it does vary in quality. The only nitpick I have is the characters continuing to vocalize and going, ah, ooh, ha, over other characters talking, which can get frustrating.
Do you really think this stranger is the Emperor's prince?
Sure, Kina. The others that have seen him say that he's strong and kind, and he's come seeking the hand of a Lumen princess.
Oh.
It's just as the Emperor promised.
Oh, he's coming for his princess.
Other than that, the show is an incredible puppet show for children and adults alike. The importance of Kingdom Adventure is that although it maybe lays on the Jesus metaphor quite thick, it isn't explicitly so as to annoy the non-religious folks. I see this, along with shows such as VeggieTales, as an excellent way to pursue Christian children's programming. Of course, this is my own opinion, and I know other more religious people would want more Bible-based studies when it comes to Christian shows for children, so Gerbert might be better for that. But I think being able to make the connection in your own way and not having it forced upon you is a better way to get children interested and engaged, finished, give it a watch and see how you like it. I think the writing is great. The characters are lovely. Sets, puppets, animation, and music are special. And rewatching it as an adult still feels magical to me. Go and watch Kingdom Adventure, and don't let it become a piece of obscure puppet media. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.
But that's what friends are for.